Thank you.
At all or any of that?
Thank you.
So you'll be up there in Attaches tonight, sitting here.
Yeah.
You sing background vocals for these guys, or?
No.
Sing a couple
Yeah, I'm
songs?
just gonna sing a few songs.
Okay, very nice. And you'll be at Cactus tomorrow as well.
I won't be playing.
Okay.
I'm just gonna go and hang out.
Right, hang out. And
Yeah.
But you will do a couple songs tomorrow in LaPorte.
Yes.
And tell us again where you're playing in LaPorte tomorrow night.
Mainly Drinks on Main Street. I know. No, but a buddy of mine, we grew up together playing in bands, played out there and said it was a real fun place, and we'll see, won't we?
Now, you were on Austin City Limits 3 different times, is that right?
I was, yeah.
Tell us about that. Was it for B.W. Stevenson?
B.W. Stevenson, and that was the very first season number 1. And then in the 90s, I did, it was an episode called Squeezebox Special. And I was playing drums for my friend Ponty Bone. Ponty used to play with Joe Ely band. And it was Ponty Bone, Santiago Jimenez Jr., and Queen Ida. It was featuring accordion players. And then Cam and I did one, Rocky Erickson and the Explosives, a few years ago.
Cool. That's great.
With Billy Gibbons sitting in with us.
Really?
Oh.
That's right.
A little Houston connection.
Yeah.
And you got another Houston connection, Alsta Haley.
Alsta Haley, indeed.
And then how'd you first meet Al?
I met Al, it was 1975 or 6. I was playing with BW, and we were doing an outdoor festival in Louisville, up north of Dallas. And Al was playing bass for Chris Hillman, the original Birds bass player. And we met and kind of became friends, and we stayed in touch, and we played together off and on all these years.
That's great. And you produced his last records, right?
No, I didn't. I released it
There you go, your label.
on SteadyBoyRecords.com. It came out, and but that was a record Al made. In the early '80s. It came out on Polydor on a German label. It was never released over here. It's a great record, so we said let's put it out. Now we've got some new recordings. For those of you that might not be familiar with Al, he was in a group called Spirit for a while, and
It's the Haley Brothers.
It's the Haley Brothers, and also while out in L.A. Keith Moon did one solo album called Two Sides.
Wasn't it Crazy Like?
No, it was called Two Sides of the Moon was the name of the album.
That's right, yeah.
And he did Al's song Crazy Like a Fox. That was the lead off first single off the record. It was a great song. And so Al and Cam and I got together. We've got an Alsta Haley and the Explosives record coming out. We did Crazy Like a Fox. We did song called Cadillac Cowboys from his Spirit days.
So this is stuff you guys just recorded, but it hasn't been out yet.
It's not out yet. We're just finishing up. We did those two, and we did a song of his called Who's Gonna Bail Me Out. It's a new song. And then we picked one more. Al played in a group for a while with John Cipollina from Quicksilver and Nick Gravenitis from Electric Flag. And they made a record together, and one of his songs called Signs of Life, we kind of rearranged it.
What was the name of that group?
Cipollina Gravenitis group.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that existed.
Too many syllables.
It is, yeah. The record's called Monkey Medicine.
Okay.
And it's really good.
Nice. Yeah. You have played, we were talking to Freddie Steady from the Freddie Steady 5, and of course he's got Cam King with him and Emily Grace Berry. Tell me about, you've played for 2 different presidents?
I have. I played a couple of things for Bill Clinton, and we did an inaugural ball for Clinton, and also on the bill, Emmylou Harris sat in with us, Johnny Cash and Bob Weir and Jerry Jeff.
Wow, how amazing is that? Was that when you were with Jerry Jeff?
Yeah. And it was really a thrill, and then we did a couple other things for President Clinton after that, and then we did a Gerald Ford golf tournament, and there's a great story. Jerry Jeff's son Django, who's grown now, but he was probably 10 or 11 years old, was with us, and we were backstage in this dressing room about half the size of this control room. Bob Hope was in there. John Denver was in there. They were also performing, and the Jerry Jeff Band was in there. And President and Mrs. Ford came in to say hello and meet everyone. And Jerry Jeff said, "Django, do you know who this is?" And he said, "Yeah, that's the only president that we had that wasn't voted into office." a little bit awkward for him. And President Ford was very cool about it. He said, well, "You're right, son."
That's great. Freddie, steady. What are you gonna sing for us next?
Ooh, let's do a song called "Twisted Smile." Today I walked another twisted mile to see my twisted friend with a twisted smile, and eyes that search for answers they never seem to find, loveless eyes that won't reveal exactly what's behind a twisted smile. You say you care for me, but all the while you only hurt me and you're in denial. Emotional blackmail is the game you choose to play. If at the game you fail, you offer to display a twisted smile. Search for answers they never seem to find, loveless eyes that won't reveal exactly what's behind a twisted smile. Twisted smile. Shake it up, baby. Twisted smile.
Freddie Kirk, live at the KPFT studio. Cam, that was beautiful guitar work. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
He's pretty good, isn't he?
Yeah, you know,
We'll
good to
keep
have
him around for the weekend.
Yeah,
Man,
for maybe another 30 years.
I still watch that guy play. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you should see the look on his face while he watches me. I haven't had that look since my English teacher did it. Not like that.
Now you guys are doing an early show at Natachi's tonight.
Yeah, yeah.
6:30
to 9:30.
Okay, very nice, and you can get some beverages there and something to eat as well.
I'm looking forward to that.
Okay, they
Yeah.
can feed you.
Yeah, I think they're going to feed us there.
Very good.
Pete, you heard
Yeah,
that.
that's right. Throwing that out there. And Cactus tomorrow in store 3 o'clock,
Mhm.
and then it's on to LaPorte. Should be
Mainly drinks on Main.
mainly drinks on Main. Very nice. Tell me about sitting in with Big Brother in the holding company.
Oh.
That worked out.
Well,
And what year was that?
that was on just maybe 3 years ago. In the 90s, Sam Andrew, one of the guitar players, was coming to Austin to play, and I had a band called the Shaken Apostles in the 90s, and they called me and said, "Man, you guys, perfect band, open for Sam Andrew at Liberty Lunch." And so Sam and I kind of became friends, and we started doing some shows together. His name is Sam Houston Andrew. His mother's from Bernie, and he was named after Sam Houston.
Now, did he know Janice back in their Texas days?
No,
Okay.
no, he didn't meet her until, because Sam, his mother was from Texas, but he was a military brat. He lived all over the place. But we did a lot of things together in the 90s, and he called me about a month before the show and said, "Man," he said, "we got one gig in Texas. We're not on tour, and the drummer's daughter was graduating." And he said, "Could you do this show for us?" Which I did, but I had to learn 90 minutes of stuff and walk on the outdoor stage cold and go play with no rehearsal, no run through, nothing. So it was a lot more fun after it was over. It was, you know, those kind of, yeah.
And what else was I going to ask you? You also got a rare opportunity to play on stage with Neil Young.
1985, Willie Nelson Picnic. It was in Austin. I can't remember what it's called. The Meadows.
I guess, yeah. Was it Band Fest?
It was
Bandit.
Willie Nelson Picnic.
Oh, the picnic. Okay.
Yeah, 1985, and I'm playing with Jerry Jeff, and we started the first song, and we heard this, you know, somebody plugging in, and I looked over, it was Neil Young playing his Orange Gretsch. He played in Buffalo Springfield through a Tweed amp. I was in heaven. I mean, you know, I went and saw Buffalo Springfield last year. You know, they did the reunion tour. I went to Oakland and saw them, and it's just, he's always been one of my favorites. That was a real extra thrill for me.
You still got a picture at home of him on the drums with
yeah,
up there.
yeah. You know what? That was the last tour before I was leaving Jerry Jeff. I did like 3 stints with him. I knew I was leaving, and that's the only time I ever took a camera on tour. And we were on stage, and I saw Neil Young, and I threw it to the guitar player's wife, John Inman's wife, Kay. I said, "Please get some pictures of this."
Right.
So we got some good shots.
He's from the Gonzo band.
Yeah.
Very nice. And do you hang out with those guys? Do you ever see Jerry Jeff? I mean, Gary P. and Bob Livingston?
I see Gary P. occasionally. Bob and I have become really close friends, and we talk.
Did you guys play with Jerry at the same time?
Yeah, John, in 83, 4, and 5, it was John Inman, Bob Livingston, and me.
Okay.
And then 90 through 2000, it was John, Bob, and me.
Fantastic. Freddie Steady live in the KPFT studios. When's the book coming out?
You know, we'll see. I'm starting on something.
Right.
Yeah,
As you should.
Actually, it was Al Schmidt. You know, I was telling you about running into Al Schmidt, right, at the Grammys. When I was out there recording, after the first day of sessions, the second day, when I got in the studio, he said, "Hey, come here, sit down and talk to me. What'd you do last night? Did you go eat? Did you go hear any music? Blah blah blah." And I'm thinking, why is he taking all this special time with me? And I realized years later that he was calming me down. You know, like I said, I was 21, barely 21, in L.A., doing for Warner Brothers, knowing that if I didn't cut it, you know, I was a phone call away from getting replaced by a million great guys. So it's a little nerve-wracking. But anyway, in one of our conversations, he was telling me that he kept a ledger of every session he ever did. And he said, you know, like if someone called and said, "Well, how'd you get that sound on that Telecaster that, you know, Dave Mason?" And he said, "Oh, let me look." Okay, well, I was going through a deluxe amp and I used a Shure mic or whatever. And he said, and he fleshed it out. He did the Jefferson Airplane after bathing at Baxter's. And he said, I asked him about that session. He said,
a far out album.
He said, "I don't know how anything got recorded." He said it was madness in there. And he also told me about a Neil Young session that Neil Young had living room furniture and lamps and stuff brought in the studio. And I think that's what gave me the idea to, I have kept a log of every gig I've ever done, the venue, the city, who else was on the bill, every recording session. And it's great because it'll trigger stuff. I can go back and look at, Eugene, Oregon. Oh, yeah, John Belushi sat in with us. And we went to a bar after the gig, and I was so disappointed because he wasn't funny. I wanted him to be funny like he's funny on TV, and he's just a regular guy. And we're at the bar, and I said, "What are you doing here?" And he said, "We're making a movie here. It's called Animal House." Mm-hmm. They were filming Animal House, and when he was there and sat in. But all that stuff, it's all in my books. So.
Yeah, I'm ready. I want to read it.
I'm working on it. I am, yeah.
We got Freddie Steady 5 live in the KPFT studio playing tonight at Natatchi's 6:30 to 9:30, and then on to Cactus tomorrow for an in-store at 3 o'clock. What are you going to play for us next?
Let's do a song called My Whole World.